Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Good evening, everyone in the Caribbean, and welcome to Connections 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And as usual on this Wednesday show is my colleague.
Hi, I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the other co-creators. Welcome to 5.8G Alive to all our listeners across the Caribbean. Jennifer, how is your week?
Well, how can I answer that? For those of you all who don't know, we live in Trinidad and Tobago, and we are presently in lockdown, as you say. It's a state of emergency, so we have to be inside by 9.
We've joined everybody else in the Caribbean. We finally joined you all.
Yes. And for me, actually, I am used to getting up early in the morning and be out there by 6 with a friend, just taking a walk. And realized this morning that I called her and we can't do it again because no outdoor activities. So I have to resort to going on YouTube and pulling up one of those exercise programs and do it at home. So it's a little a shift of the mind. But this is what we have to do if we want to control the spread. Yeah.
Life continues, and we
Yes.
can't stop it, So my family is just enjoying much more delightful and creative meals.
Great.
So I'm exercising my passion. So they're having a good time. They're hoping that lockdown and curfew goes on for a bit longer. Anyway.
They are really fortunate. I am eating leftovers.
See, if we didn't have curfew.
Yeah, I would have been buying food.
So, Jennifer, what do we have in store for 5.8G Alive today?
All right. So as the audience, 5.8G Alive has 3 segments. The first segment, we have being in tune, living a fulfilled life. And I will tell you when I get on about what's going to happen on that segment, because we are in the third aspect of it, which is about your soul. Then we move into a second segment, and that is being dollar savvy, Terry.
Claiming your worth, your worth. And as Jen said, we in 3 parts. So in this final part, we have a guest, and we had that conversation a little earlier, and we're talking about being organized. So you need to really stay tuned and join in.
Yeah. And the third segment is about being in a tribe, enjoying community. And it's all about you. You out there, how we can really come together and just enjoy being in a community.
Great. So, Jennifer, let me then, without further ado, we're going into our first segment.
Yes.
Being in tune.
Right.
Fine instruments like the human body and mind need to be in tune. So have a good time with Jennifer. Get to living a fulfilled life. Great.
Thank you, Terry-Ann. So, our followers, listen. We spoke all about your mind, being very positive. So that was the first session. And last week, which was the second session, we had our guest, Maria Elias Smith. And Maria, who is our associate, also is a nutritionist, a dietitian, and a personal trainer. And Maria spoke about moving your body, especially at this time when most of us are at home. Maria helped us, showed some exercises where we could continue to move our body without even using our equipment. And then she showed us a breathing exercise, which would help us in terms of being more relaxed. Okay, so I said mind, body, and soul. So this session is all about soul. And when I speak about your soul, I am not speaking about spirituality here. It's not about your spirit. It's about the essence of who you are. It's about more character. And I would say those of us who are 50 plus, which many of us, our audience, 50 plus, you may recall it may be still happening that you would overhear someone referring to a friend or family member, and they will say, that person is such a great soul. They're kind soul or wonderful soul. And when you hear that remark, you may immediately think that, okay, that's somebody very kind, very generous. That's a person who maybe bring happiness to others. And it's somebody you may want around you because that's a kind and wonderful soul. You may also hear that they refer to someone else and say, oh gosh, poor soul, meaning really that person don't have it together, going through maybe a rough time, etc. And so I would ask you, have you ever thought of, going within and checking out your soul in terms of your spirit, your being? What sort of vibrations that you give off? So what would someone say about you? And this is what I want you to ask yourself. What would a friend say looking at you? Would they say, you are a good soul, you are a kind soul, or may they just say, poor soul? So basically, this is where I'm going when I'm talking about your soul. At this time, we are, and as I mentioned earlier, especially, most of us in the Caribbean right now, going through some sort of curfew, as we refer to as being locked down. And you may be, so you're at home, and you're at home now with family members that you haven't gotten used to being among them for such long periods. So you find there are a lot they may have a lot of chaos happening. You may recognize or some traits in others that you may think, okay, I didn't even know they were like that, etc., etc. So what do you do at this stage? And this is coming back to your soul, your being. It is a really opportune time for you to start examining yourselves, to look at your characteristics, I would say. And to do that, it is important for us to understand who we are. The traits we have, whether it's a good trait or bad traits, but recognize it, because we may be also contributing to that chaos. And when I say that, for instance, that there is a saying, and we say it a lot in Trinidad, I must say, is that person getting on your nerve, meaning that you don't like the way they may behave, you don't like certain aspects of who they are. So to help, because we have to live in that household, whether we like that person or not, whether they're getting on our nerves or not, we need to live and try to live as happy and be very accommodative as we can. As for 50 plus tribe, we are considered, we may not like to hear it, but we are considered the elders. We are expected to set the example. We are expected to set that tone to help calm things, to make things better. So to do that, we need to examine who we are. We need to go within. What type of person are you? What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to do in life? So I said, this is a time, as much as we are very anxious and nervous and want this to finish, look at this other side of it. This is a time to bring family together, to have an understanding, to discuss the way forward. And when I say the way forward, for you to start the discussion after you examine yourself, after you know, okay, this is who I am, this is what I would like to do, then you can open up the conversation and help each other have some more understanding, have some empathy, be able to give some guidance. And as I mentioned that, during this time also, we at our age group, we very much aware of mortality, because we are hearing every day, we get in these reports of so many deaths, etc. So I think it's only natural for us to get a bit anxious. But I want you to turn that anxiety into a more positive way of thinking, meaning that start to consider what sort of legacy you would like to leave. What would you like? Again, I'm going back to you being your soul. What would you like your family members to be? What would you like to leave for them? And when I say that, I am not talking about financial legacy here. I'm talking maybe about your values, what gifts you can, and I'm saying gifts meaning your own talents, and that is when I refer to gifts, I refer to your talents. What can you at this time pass on? And we are very experienced people right now. Some of us have already left the workplace, but just being at this age, we have gained a lot of experience. We have a lot of expertise, a lot of skills that we could share and we could offer. But because everybody has been so busy within the household, those who may be still at school, whether it's university, tertiary education, etc., those who have been working, so everybody in the household have been busy, more, as we say, more out than in. Now you have everyone together. This is a good time for us to pass on, share some of our knowledge, our skills, things that they may be able to use to help them. Take the opportunity to do something active with those at home and share some ideas. But remember, before you do that, you have to examine your soul. All right? So let's look at when I refer to is moving mind, body, and soul, but I wouldn't say this segment is moving your soul. It's more about the vibrations, about how do you fuel your soul. And I would say that all the way you feel, your feelings, your behavior, your thoughts, which all go back to mind and mindfulness. The way you treat people, you're being kind. All these great attributes contribute, fuel your soul. So start to think of the ways you can fuel your soul. So take some time. You have time, eh? You have time now. Yes, the house may be a bit crowded or a bit noisy, but you can carve out some space. Maybe get up very, very early when everybody's sleeping, or stay up late when they go to bed. Find the best time for you to be quiet and start to think and, fill yourself up with the positives. So this is that, and during that quiet time, check yourselves. Say, tell yourself, what do I really want to leave as a legacy? And how can I do that? Remember, this is not costing you anything. All it is you taking time out to find yourself and to decide how you can contribute to having a more positive family life, to be a more positive person, a happier person, one who, it is said when you give, you get. It's not that you're going to be given to get, but it makes you feel good. Think about it. When you make a contribution and it is well, you give some advice and that person take your advice and it works positive for them, how do you feel? You feel very good. So this is the time for you first to sit and check out. And you could make some notes, you could record it, you could do, as I always say, you do a vision board, anything that could keep your mind very focused. And the focus is, how do I deposit good out there? What can I do? And that for me is how you can fuel your soul. And I can tell you, when you do that and you have the others looking in at what you're doing and see that it's only a lot of positive, and what you're really trying to do is make them feel better, uplift them. That's really what you're doing. You're going to be feeling good and they will be feeling good. And that is how I see fueling your soul, sending out the positive vibrations just within the household, and being very, having that high energy at this time when it is very, very, anxious. People very anxious. Okay, so I just want here to end with some, just tips and go back again, starting with the mind, body, and soul, to remind you about your mind, to remove all the negative energies, and they're coming at us fast and furious every day, all through. So choose sometimes, not, what you have to do it. You don't need to read all the other negatives that is going on. Find ways to be positive. Check yourself, be honest with yourself to say, well, okay, I really have certain traits that maybe I should consider changing my behavior. So that's in terms of your mind, staying positive, removing yourself from that negative environment, not call people who are going to give you all the sad stories. So that's more or less with your mind. On your body, of course, do what Maria suggested. Look for the exercises you can do now that we're at home. Go on YouTube and find whatever. It could be dance, walking, whatever you like to do. There are programs that you can do. Keep your body moving. Breathe, because breathing is so important right now to keep us, to release stress and anxiety. Again, they have those breathing exercises you can try, and coming down to your soul. And your soul is really your being, the essence of who you are. And ask yourself, who do you want to be? And write down the things to do. We are not too old. Actually, we may have had some very bad habits, baggage that we brought on to the third stage. And it's time that we release the baggage. This COVID-19 has really made a big difference to all of our lives. Let's not go down. Let's not have it take us down any further. To rise above what is happening, we have to use our minds and be very positive, and we have to nourish our soul with very, very, with good works, I would say. So that's it for now. When coming to mind, body, and soul, I wish you well. And of course, I look forward. So just send me little notes, make some suggestions. What else could be done? Let's get together and ensure that we support each other during this time.
Jennifer, this, you were talking about that, the soul, and you really, those sayings, what a good soul.
Yes.
Poor soul. So good old soul. It really is. There's a whole discussion about, and for us as Christians, we are ending the Easter season and going into Pentecost when the
Yes.
Spirit comes down, and it's another very important part of Christianity. And as you bring up the issue of soul, you're right. Many people would think that it is about spirituality, but at the end of the day, your soul is really the essence of you, which is your
Of who you
spirit.
are,
So
yes.
it really, I really did think, and I think for all of us, it doesn't matter how we connect with that intangible part of us that speaks to us, our consciousness, our conscience. We really have to take care of it. We
Yeah.
really, really do have to take care of it. So that was excellent, Jennifer.
Yeah,
I think
you.
that entire series was very enlightening, and I'm sure I hope I see now lots of comments on our YouTube and Facebook pages and on our website, on the community page, where people will engage as to how we take care of our soul. So in terms of taking care of our soul, we've looked at living a fulfilled life. And Jennifer, our next segment is the Being Dollar Savvy life segment. And I said we had a guest. This segment, listeners, was actually pre-recorded. We had a special guest, and we were talking about being dollar savvy, claiming your worth. And I'm taking you through the entrepreneurial journey. And our first segment, we talked about what are you going to do? Last week, we talked about how you know your customer. And as we promised, this week, it's about being organized. So let's take a look at being organized. Okay, so we promised last week and the week before that on this third edition of Being Dollar Savvy, Claiming Your Worth, we're going to have someone on board to help us talk about being organized. And organization has a broad breadth. So I want to introduce to you Viola Brathwaite-Haynes, who is an accountant.
Hi, Terry.
Great. Really, really nice to have you here. And Viola is a partner in CONEC Professional Services. And Viola, tell us about your qualifications. You're an ACCA fully certified accountant.
I'm an ACCA fully certified accountant. I'm a fellow, in fact, so I have FCCA.
Many people are, they think, an accountant? No, that's complicating it. You're going to go to a level. No, I'm not in that. My business is a small business. Is that a justifiable position to have in terms of what accountants or the discipline of accounting is for business?
I think accountants force people to face questions or answer questions to themselves that they don't want to face. And some of them even get angry at me in the sense that, why you have to ask me that? It forces them to face reality, the reality of situations that they are not ready to face.
What kinds of realities are we talking about?
Well, it can vary. It's realities concerning their product or service, realities concerning their market, be it their customers, their suppliers, in terms of their costing, the structure, maybe in terms of distribution, maybe they're not doing what they need to do to get their product out there, and they're just not ready to do that work. Sometimes in terms of some businesses or sole trader businesses, the owner is taking more out of the business than reinvesting into the business. And no one wants someone to tell them, you're spending too much on yourself.
Spending too, but it's my money. It's
that is
my
normally the
answer.
That is normally the answer. It's my money, but no, you're running a business. And at the end of the day, even if it's a sole trader business, you have to know the difference in terms of reinvesting back into the business to make it profitable to the place where you can reap all the rewards that you want to reap.
You know, Fiola, and you've hit the nail on the head, because we're dealing with the 5.8G generation. We are the group of people 50 to 80 years. We are going to 2050. Many of us are now facing what we call the third act of life, where for the first time, we can really do what we want on our terms. But after accumulating probably over 30, 40, sometimes 50 years of experience in the workplace, we have a lot of skills. We have a lot of ambitions. And as I talked about in my first session, you know, what do we do? It's not necessarily what you did to work. And then last week, we talked about the finding the customers. But it's so sad that people start off and what I call being organized. Now, I probably should have said being accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads us into the accounting and the accountant.
Mm-hmm.
But I hold the view that it is not difficult. It is not a harassing thing, but it is so important if our businesses are to last the 30 years, 2050, are to provide streams of income for us, and better yet, if we are to build it for it to be strong enough to then bequeath to a son or a daughter and have an intergenerational business going on, we've got to be organized and set some ground structures in place. When you say structure for a sole trader business, what are the elements of structure that you would look for as an accountant?
Well, the fact that with a sole trader business, you're now investing into yourself. So you are the boss, you are the owner, you are directly affected by everything that you do. So you definitely, it's just like working for someone else in the sense that all the elements may fall into place, but you are the boss, you are the, what they call chief cook, bottle washer, because you do everything there.
Yeah.
So in terms of structure, you have to do your research of the business in terms of where's your product line or where's your service line.
Mm-hmm.
For sole traders, I always advise that you be the cost in the sense of you're not outsourcing a cost. Because surprisingly, there are a lot of sole trader businesses where you import the cost or you import the skill. So you would think a sole trader business lies strictly on you.
Mm-hmm.
But some sole trader businesses do import skill and pay for that skill.
For instance?
So someone might have a sole trader business that is registered as plumbing, just say plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
for example, but they have no plumbing skills. And they are paying a plumber to do the plumbing work.
Oh.
We're laughing, but this happens. So
then they are the marketing agent for a plumber.
A plumber. So they come up with a business. They know they want to have a business, but they don't have the skill or they don't create the product.
Okay,
Which
so
like
just to have a
differently.
business, so they're like an
Just to
employment
have a business.
agency.
Right. So people do that. The other thing is knowing your product, knowing where your product lies, or knowing your service, and knowing the market for your service or your product. Pricing strategy of your product or service, where would you fall?
Because we chatted about market last week. A lot of people have a product and people are so afraid of pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And I often tell people, I tell people, pricing has nothing to do with cost.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your price covers your cost, but pricing has nothing to do with cost. So price has to do with what the market will bear. But as an accountant, do you find people afraid to price?
Yes.
Why?
People place all their emphasis on price. All.
And give away all their profits while they're doing it.
And give away all their profit. Business-wise, profit-wise, they are not priced strategically. They say price is king. Mind you, the main problem that the customer is facing is a distribution problem.
Not a price problem, not a product problem.
Nothing to do with price, but price was their reason. Price was their excuse.
Okay. If I ask you a question, and I have a few that if you are organized, and I come back to being organized, and you touched on structure, you touched on knowing your business, knowing your production process, knowing all the cost elements. And if you know your market and who you're targeting, you'll have a sense of what price that customer will pay. You know your cost. And I love that point you made, that don't outsource the skills that you require. You be the business.
Yeah.
Don't go hiring a cake maker or hiring a baker if you want to make cakes. If you're a sole trader, then you have to be it. That's a different business model. If people have those documents in place, if people know those things, would you agree that it will be easier for them to claim their price and go confidently in the market and know which customer to walk away from?
So putting that structure in place affords you to now assess your business and therefore assess yourself in terms of what have you been doing to contribute to either the success or the failures of the business. And therefore you are accounting to yourself, you are managing yourself. And by keeping track, you are therefore now taking ownership of what the business has done. And therefore you can always reassess after.
A business is an entity separate and apart. And one of the things that I keep saying is, one of the buckets that Connection 50 Plus focuses on is that your economic well-being, your not only the stock of money that you have, which you have to invest and take care of, but these flows of funds you can create through entrepreneurship. And this is a 30-year flow. So there's a level of seriousness you must apply. And you got to the point of registering a business. Many people think that registering a business makes them exposed. Exposed to whom? Taxpayer? I don't know who they're exposed to, but I love the point that you make, that it's your first step in being committed to it, like you're committed to children or you're committed to the job. You have something separate from yourself you have to take care of. Why do people think registering is so hard, and is registering a business hard?
Registering a business is very easy, but you mentioned the reason that people don't like to register a business, which is taxes. We live in a society that runs from taxes. And that, I think, is besides, I guess, having to account for the funds for themselves, because sole traders like to operate as a talk shop. Because they feel because they are the sole creator or sole worker of the business, that they don't need to account to themselves. Money is coming in. Once money is coming in, I'm okay. Once they're able to do what they want to do with the funds, they're okay.
Today, with no thought to tomorrow.
Tomorrow. A lot of people surprisingly only register a business for the name. So they want a certain name, they want a brand. So they register the business just for the name, to have a brand that they could promote.
And let me get to the tax issue. Business, how many SMEs, small and medium enterprises, actually pay tax?
Better than working for an employer, in the sense that if you're working for an employer, you have to pay a PAYE, etc. When you're working as a sole trader, you have your expenses that you can claim under the business.
Or effectively, your tax rate is reduced.
It's reduced. And
Yeah.
the fact that you're paying taxes means that your business is doing well.
The reality is that at the end of the day, the amount you pay back to the government
It's
or
very
whoever
minimal.
is much smaller than you would have paid as an employee across the board. And also, Fayola, the fact that you have a business helps you to be recognized for so many other benefits. Why don't people realize this?
Said people go into business for different reasons. And some people aren't aware and they won't make themselves aware. So that's where you invest. That's part of investing into your business, where you find out everything that affects the business. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't do that, don't make themselves knowledgeable about what is available to them.
Yeah. When we at Connections 50 Plus talk about that life on the third act stage, which we're building the stage that we have to live on for 30 years. After the 30 years, then we'll retire, because after 80, that's when we retire. So you're building a stage and you're writing a script. And we are saying that you have to take care of your body. You would have left the second act with some bundle of money, be it a gratuity, be it your savings, be it a pension. But to really live fully, you need further funds. And it is my passion to help people to understand that when you speak about those future flows, that is an area of life that you have to pay attention to be serious about it, and to have it be part of your legacy that you could pass on to your children and leave your children in a better state, children or whoever, in a better state than you probably started off at. You have to put some care, and that care requires organizing. And I think most people, they come to us and they'll say, all right, help me set up a business. And one of the first things I say is, I can help you conceptualize it. I can help you get it off the ground. I can help you plan it. But the one person that you need to get on board with you, not on a full-time basis, but certainly on a part-time basis, is an accountant to keep you accountable.
Yes, it is.
But accountants have a role in every business, because every business has a function called accounting. It's being accountable, being organized. What if you go into a business and you have to assess their level of organization or their awareness of what is going on? What are the kinds of things that you expect to see, or you would help them to put in place?
Simple things as filing and keeping track of all your documents. But you would think that's the hardest thing in a business, to keep track of documents. Keeping your legal documents, your registration documents, keeping those organized. As I said, every single thing affects accounts. So every single thing you do, all you have to do is keep it properly documented. Some people think it's not important, and they don't realize that a simple document, what may seem frivolous to you, can be very, very, very important.
Like an invoice, like a statement, like
All
a receipt,
invoices, statements,
a
receipts,
bank statement, a check.
document, every single thing is important and needs to be kept, and let the accountant or anyone determine how important it is.
But it is worth it. It is worth it. And as I say, we want our 50 plus cohort, our 5.8G cohort that is now alive, we've got to keep going till 2050. And we need to supplement our pensions and our savings with income flows, which we can use to spoil ourselves rotten, or we can save some for the future generation, or we can use our business to start something for our children. Or, as I always say, it's not always a profit. It could be for charitable purposes. You could start a structured operation, if you don't want to use the word business, to support a community effort, to help in your church, to do anything that you want to. The point is that for it to work and for it to last, you've got to be accountable, you've got to be organized, and that's not hard. Paola, I want to thank you so very much for this chat in terms of helping our members and our viewers to be dollar savvy and claim your worth. All right. It's been perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Terry and viewers.
Okay. And we have Paola's services and her contacts on the screen below us. Onyx Professional Services. If you have a business or you have something you know you're not organized and you need to be organized, please give Paola a call. All right. So I hope that would have caused a few of you all to think seriously about that, managing the flow of funds, creating a flow of funds to help you live your best life on the third act stage. You know, we're looking at the how, have a purpose. What are you going to do? We're looking at the who is your customer? And then, as Faye and I said, where does this whole, what's organized? A business is separate to you. You have to be accountable to it. So you have to do accounting. So don't get caught up with being wary of it. And Jennifer, we at Connections 50 Plus are doing things to help people get their act together, whether it is body, mind, and soul through an enterprise or a charity or whatever. So let's remind people, take a look at the services we offer, our video marketing services. And when we get back, we will get into our tribe.
Welcome to our 5.8G community. Connections 50 Plus has great news for anyone needing to boost a business, promote a project or a cause that's dear to you, but find it challenging to get your promotional video just right.
We know that drill, and are fortunate to have a competent and talented support team to ensure that our digital image is always on point.
So, our good news is that we are giving you access to this team with a special package which we call Being Digitally Ready.
In this package, you will receive advice and guidance on positioning and pitching your business to ensure that its best features are impactfully communicated to your audience.
You will get professional videography and a mini photo shoot at a location of your choice.
All done by Zag Creations. Advice on getting the best set designed and script. We also have the option to have professional makeup by Maureen Mitchell.
A wardrobe consultation done by Richard Young
to ensure that you present your best face to the world.
After all this, we will deliver your 2-minute long promotional video ready to be launched on any digital platform in support of your business, project, or cause.
Video marketing is vitally needed in today's digital and mobile world, but not everyone offers the complete technical and advisory package.
Everything in our Being Digitally Ready package will come at the unbeatable fixed price of $4,760 TT dollars. If you're interested, please call me, Terry Ann, at 868-682-9202
or Jennifer at 868-685-8834.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Call soon.
Right, so in this segment, it's about being in a tribe, really enjoying community. Tarian, this is not such an easy thing for people to do, you know.
Jennifer, I have a theory. I have a theory of what's happening to us at this time. I think for the entire Caribbean, is the world, but let's look at ourselves as Caribbean people. It's really a tough time, eh? You have to think about coronavirus, and all of our populations are under threat with numbers, and most critically, our economies are tanking. They are tanking. And what's the route out? You have some people who are worried about vaccines, some people can't get vaccines, some people looking for vaccines. And I think and because we're inside, it's difficult for many people to try and reach out. And so I think people are, they're carrying the weight of it. You know, they're not necessarily outwardly depressed or sad, but they're carrying the weight of it. And I know sometimes it might seem like a lonely event to, log on and type and so on, but it's part of where we are now. And I think we just need to push through and give it a try,
Terry, and I have found, prior to the pandemic, persons they work occupy a lot of people time. Eh? So, and men, somehow the men have been able to carve out more time, to take a little, as we say, take a little line. But generally, I agree, the mood is not one that encouraging community.
Yeah.
The mood is
we are being told to stay away.
Yeah. So that's it. Eh? And community building, what is recommended and what we are asking is something completely newer. So you move away from that face-to-face, from the hugging and the touching, from the socializing. And because when we have socials, everybody happy. And we are about music and dancing and the playing of the cards, and those you're going out and you're playing sports, etc., etc. So we are, Caribbean people are we are outdoor people. All right. So community before wasn't an issue,
No.
because we find things to do and people to hang with. But when you're inside now and you're being told community now is being online.
Yeah.
And not even online on the phone, because the phone is almost a thing of the past, if I may say so. And yes, you have the cell phone, but you don't want on different people. You don't want to run up, and depending on where you are, data is a high cost. Some places where you are is a problem with internet, etc., etc. So you have some challenges even with the cell phone. And we are asking now to go beyond that, to go on the computer now and join a group on the computer, which is something like never heard of before. So it's a whole change of a mindset to find out, first of all, if you don't have more the technical family member there to show you what to do, it could become extremely frustrating. Now we can talk, but let me tell you, when we started, and we shared this with you, we hired someone, I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning, Tarian, or earlier than that.
4 o'clock, Jennifer. The woman Candace had a baby. We had to finish before the baby wakes up.
So you understand? We actually had to hire someone to understand technology to be able to come now and do this program for you. So don't think we don't understand. It is really a challenge. What we are trying to do, because it seems, and this is the new normal, as from what people say, it seems, this is not to be negative, but it's like we're going to be like in this stage for, I don't want to say a year again, but a couple months, at least the end of the year. Let me, if I want to be positive.
Jennifer, let's be real.
You are seeing what's happening.
Let's be real. This is going to be, this time next year, we will probably just be getting ourselves out of the masking and social distancing, and then the economic issue is going to be some. And I'm not being negative. I'm being real. And I think too, our community becomes even more important, because one of the things that we are saying is COVID-19 has changed everything all around the world. It has affected our economies. the way we teach, the way we get entertainment, some businesses are not going to come back. So it means that when we talk about manage your finances or create new income flows, or when we talk about living fulfilled lives and minding body, mind, and soul, those are going to be serious life-sustaining issues. And I don't think it means necessarily that our third act is going to be, I mean, the fifth act, that means we're going to 105. Our third act doesn't have to be sad and depressed. It's just going to be different. We're creating it, we're scripting it, you know, and I think we have the benefit now of starting to practice building community in that. I mean, the other day, a vessel landed on Mars, and Elon Musk insists he's going to carry people there. So, I mean, they go to the moon. I'm being ridiculous, but to me, what is ahead of us is very much like going where no man has gone before. I have a thing. I've always been so proud of our entrepreneurs for years. I think we've been groomed to expect nonsense when in fact those days have gone. I mean, yes, there are a few who, but really the businesses that are existing, they innovate, they constantly innovate. And I also think that, you know, when we think of our new community, building our new community, a community that is resilient and able to handle the new economy, the new society, being digitally ready, like we said at the end of our video marketing ad and services, we've all got to do it. And, you know, when Jan says, change your mind, body, and soul, just like how we're talking here, this is how you're going to be getting together with your friends. When you have a birthday party, you play music in the background, you're online, everybody cater their own eats and drinks, you know? And so we've really got to not compare to what was. I think it is like, us looking, hearing our parents talk about the old days, or when we try to tell our children about a time that is past. This is what it's going to be. We are going to be here till 2050. That's 30 years. You know how much more innovation is going to happen. And we need to just practice getting with it. And Connections 50 Plus, the tribe that we are building, is going to be one tribe of 50 to 80-year-olds who are with it. We're not going to be left behind anyway.
You need to understand the technology. It's not hard. And that's the way we would be communicating as we move forward. And I encourage you all to go to our community page. Let's start the discussion. We could share so many ideas. So I encourage you to visit our community page and engage, not just with us, you're engaging with our whole 5.8G tribe.
Great. So be a tribe and let's build community. See you next week on that.
Definitely.
Okay, so that was our community, building a tribe. Being a tribe, building a community. So important. So Jan, we finished our 3-week series. We're going into some more.
Yes, we're going to start a new series as of next week, as of next Wednesday. And we're looking again, continuing with our segments. So on this segment of Being in Tune, we're going to be talking about your lifestyle choices and chances. A lot of exciting information going to be there.
We're getting sexy.
Yeah, a little more excitement at this time inside. So we're going to tell you how you can enjoy yourself being inside. Okay.
And you all know that we know how to tell you to enjoy yourself when you're inside. Okay, we get to the topics.
And then on being dollar savvy. Yeah, Terry, and we're going to be talking about money narratives.
We're going to get very serious.
Aspects. Yes.
Yeah, because, you know, as we said, it's 30 years. Hello, it's 2020 to 2050. And we have to really look at ourselves and what we're doing with our money. We started the discussion on entrepreneurship, but we are going to get deeper. Remember, we are building a stage. We on the foundation part of it now. So you're going to have another 3 weeks of chock-a-block.
Good. And our third segment, which is about being in a tribe, we're going to be talking all about the vibrations of change. Remember, we spoke about it, change, get a little more techie. All right, so we're going to be sharing a lot of information on the vibrations of change in our community section.
Yeah. So everyone, remember, please feel free to comment. Our community link, link is right there on the screen. Go on, give us your views. And if you insist you don't want to go there, we are going to see you on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. But we really would love to meet you on the community page of the website, because then we can get into so much more detail with you. Okay. So, Jen, that's it.
That's it. So we're just saying bye for now until next Wednesday. Please be safe, stay inside, wear your mask, wear your shield, and take care.
Oh, Jan, one other thing. Last week, we forgot to send greetings to the Islamic community on Eid al-Fitr. And we know that you went through your month of Ramadan, and although everybody dealing with curfew times, but in every way, as we deal with our spirituality, our gods, however we worship, that's one of the beauties of the Caribbean. We're such a cosmopolitan group, so we trust and hope that you, the Islamic community, had a wonderful and blessed, though quiet, Eid al-Fitr. Okay, so now we're heading out. So see you next Wednesday. Bye.
50 Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.